So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. We have just been given the release date for DLC 1, Citadelle and Zombies, along with information about the main Easter egg quest, when the launch is going to go live, and we're going to be covering a bunch of new leaks to do with it as well, including the wonder weapons, enemies, changes to the Wonder Fizz, and even more. So let's just get straight into it. Treyarch literally just tweeted this out a couple of hours ago, showing us the logo for the new Zombies map, Citadelle, that's how you pronounce it apparently according to them, and the release date, which is literally right around the corner on the 5th of December. So what are we now, the 22nd, the 23rd, depending on when this video goes up? That's less than 2 weeks away. So we've just had two Zombies maps, Black Ops 6 released less than a month ago, and now we are getting our third Zombies map not too long after. And if you ask me, the timing is perfectly, because I think we're close or have found, you couldn't say for sure, all of the Easter eggs in Liberty Falls and Terminus. We've discovered all of the story stuff. Just in case you haven't seen already, I've explained the entire storyline for both of these maps. So if you don't understand them, or if you want a little bit of help, because it's difficult to know in what order some of the radios go in, I've done videos explaining the story for both of those maps, which pretty much tells you the entire BO6 storyline so far. So if you're interested, I will leave the links to those down in the description. But it looks like in 2 weeks' time, I'll be making another one on Citadelle, and I'm super interested to see where the story is going to go, because it will be continuing on after the Terminus ending, where we learned that Richtofen is chasing the Sentinel artifact. So we're going there, Weaver, Carver, Gray and Meyer, along with Peck and probably Dr. Strauss in the background, to try and get it before him. We also know at the same time they're hunting down Richtofen. Unbeknownst to them, he's not there. He was taken by Samantha, possibly in the Dark Ether, but that we don't know yet. We can only theorize. And there's a bunch of other stuff going on in the background as well. The storyline is really getting juicy, so to know that we don't have to wait long to see its continuation is really, really good. I was thinking that it had released towards the end of December because BO6 has only just come out, but no, it's on the 5th, within the first week. What we were officially told about the map, and by the way, this is an image of it up on screen that we were given by Treyarch a couple of weeks ago, but it takes place in an abandoned castle in Europe, Avalon, and will include a brand new perk, a new field upgrade, a new ammo mod, which will all have their own augments, 3 new gobbleguns, new wonder weapons, which we're going to get onto in just a second, and a new enemy type, which you can kind of see the outline of here. But there may be more enemies that we are familiar with that we could be seeing along with that as well. We'll get into that. But yeah, this is the logo. It looks cool. It goes with the setting of the map in a castle. Treyarch also said along with this announcement, and yes, the main quest is planned to go live simultaneously with the launch of the map on December the 5th. So as soon as it drops, there's no waiting 24 hours or 48 hours for the main Easter egg quest to be unlocked, because everyone will be able to download it at the same time, unlike the launch of the game where New Zealand is like 12 hours ahead. The main Easter egg quest you can start hunting for straight away, which I think is the best way to go about it. At the same time, I do kind of like it when the main egg is locked for a day, because then it gives you time to actually play the game and get a feel for the layout, but that's probably the best option. So as far as official information goes, that's all that we've got, but there are a bunch of brand new leaks that I haven't covered yet that we're going to talk about in this video. So like Treyarch mentioned, we are getting wonder weapons in this new map, not a wonder weapon. Meaning, similar to Alpha Omega, Origins, or the Rise and Draka, there will be 4 elemental versions of the Wonder Weapon that you're going to be able to use. Mogwai Network tweeted, "Rumour, Citadelle's Wonder Weapon will be the Umbrella Blade melee weapon with 4 different variations. This marks the 5th time we've gotten a melee Wonder Weapon in a Treyarch game. It might be worth then upgrading these melee Macchiato augments. Espresso, which makes all of your melee attacks slightly faster. Vampiric Extraction, which means melee attacks heal a small amount of health. Stick and Move, which increases your backpedal speed after a successful melee attack, and Hidden Impact, which means melee kills reloads a portion of your held weapon." And you know what? If that's the case, that's a smart move by Treyarch, because right now melee Macchiato is probably one of the worst perks we've ever had in Zombies, but if it turns out that it's going to be useful for the wonder weapons in Citadelle, then it suddenly goes from being a pretty bad perk to maybe the best. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I should probably start upgrading melee Macchiato then. I rarely ever buy it in game, never mind upgrade its augments. Maybe that's something we should start doing. But yeah, a sword wonder weapon makes perfect sense for the map taking place in an abandoned castle. It's got to be some kind of medieval weapon. We've already had bows, we've already had staffs, we've had spears in Zombies before. We had the one in, I think it was Ancient Evil, definitely a part of the Chaos story. We also had the sword in the Chaos maps as well as one of the special weapons. So we've seen quite a variety of melee weapons, not forgetting Takio's katana, but I'm definitely up for having something like a sword, and it's going to be called the Umbral Blade. I'm pretty sure I called it the Umbrella Blade earlier. Umbral, by the way, means shadow or a shadowy apparition, so could that give us a clue as to what it might look like? So just like Rise of Drakon, I guess you can get the standard sword, how you could get the standard bow in that map, and then you can upgrade it with 4 different elements, maybe fire, wind, ice, electricity, stuff like that. And what's so good about having 4 elemental versions of a wonder weapon is everyone in game can then have one for themselves. But that's not the only thing. According to a leaker called Asian Power Supply, they said the OG Wonder Fizz is back in Black Ops 6. Didn't know which map or if it'll be cut content, but it is there. Someone then rightfully asked, well, can this not just be leftovers, which is a high possibility? But Margwarbot replied back, and I don't really know anything about this, but because it says T10 at the beginning of the string, which means Treyarch 10, the 10th Treyarch game, Black Ops 6, it can't be leftover content, or at the very least, that means Treyarch have made changes to it, which wouldn't make sense if it was just left over. They'd leave it as it is. Personally, to me, this doesn't really make sense. Why would Treyarch even think about bringing back the original Wonder Fizz? Because we've had the one we have now ever since Cold War, and I really have no problem with it. I think it works fine. Prefer it to the original, to be fair. If you don't know the difference between the two, on the OG Wonder Fizz, the perk you would get from it would be random, similar to the Gobblegum machine, but on the new Wonder Fizz machine, you can select which perks you want to buy from it, which is just way more handy. Instead of spending your cash getting a perk that you don't want, or perhaps something you don't want first, such as Elemental Pop, you'd much rather have Juggernog as one of your first perks over that. So instead of wasting money spinning the Wonder Fizz, the new one is way better. And for that reason, I can't think of why Treyarch would want to bring back the OG Wonder Fizz, besides from making the game a little bit more difficult and not having the ability to purchase whatever perks you want. But they already changed how the Wonder Fizz works in Black Ops 6 anyway. They made it so it's not available in the map until round 25, and by that time you would have brought at least half of the perks in the game anyway from their respective machines. Yeah, this one to me doesn't make sense, which is why I'm still thinking it has to be leftover coding, but on the off chance that it's not, I won't rule it out. He also tweeted about 2 new enemies, or a new one and a returning one. First off, the Mimic can be found. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since I played the campaign, but weren't the Mimics in that? So could this just not be for the campaign? Maybe. I really hope we don't get the Mimic back in Zombies. It's one of my least favourite enemies. It's very annoying. And the other new one that can be found within the coding is something called Mecha Claws, which makes me think this has to be some kind of Christmas event. Sounds like it'd be a mangler in a Santa outfit. Nothing's been announced so far. I don't think Treyarch have said that we are going to be having any Christmas event, but we had Jingle Hells in Black Ops Cold War, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be getting something. And if we do, potentially this Mecha Claws boss could be the enemy we face in whatever the Christmas mode is. I would think it would just be a reskinned mangler in a Santa outfit or something like that. He also tweeted the 3 DLC perks. Now, 2 of these I'm extremely skeptical about, because he says we are going to be getting Vulture Aid, Death Perception, and Tombstone. Now, first off, the director of Zombies, or one of the co-directors, Kevin Drew, said that Tombstone was one of the least popular perks in Black Ops Cold War. He knows that, so you would think he would not sign off on Tombstone returning to Black Ops 6, because it'd be a waste of everybody's time, Treyarch's, them spending their time implementing it into the game, and a waste of our time, because it's just not very good. It could be better with the augment system in Black Ops 6. Perhaps there'll be upgrades we could do to it that would make it really good, combining that and elements of Who's Who. But the fact that Kevin knows it's not a perk people want is surely the reason it won't be returning. And as far as Vulture Aid and Death Perception, well, they're pretty much the same perk. We saw Death Perception in Black Ops Cold War. The last time we saw Vulture Aid, if I'm not wrong, was Black Ops 2 in Buried. But both of these perks have very similar abilities. The only real difference is Vulture Aid, when you kill certain zombies, releases a green gas that you can stand in and have these zombies ignore you. And Death Perception allows you to see zombies through walls, but apart from that, every other ability of these 2 perks is identical. I could see them adding Vulture Aid into Citadelle and then implementing elements of Death Perception into the augment system, but as far as giving us both of those perks separately, again, just like Tombstone, doesn't really make sense. So I'm a little bit skeptical about this. I'd love for Vulture Aid to come back because it is a good perk. And actually, going back to Treyarch's official blog post, they said Citadelle will have an additional perk. Unlike the Gobblegums or the Wonder Weapons, they don't say new. They just say additional, which makes me think it will be a returning old perk. We won't be getting a new one, so something that we've seen before, like Vulture, Death Perception or Tombstone, would make sense. Double tap, of course, is the one that everyone wants, but I can say your wish isn't going to come true on that one. He also tweeted out that the Hellhound will return in the next map, Citadelle de Morts, for sure, he says. Now, Troyok did already show us this image of the new enemy type in the map, which clearly isn't a Hellhound, but the Hellhounds would replace something like the Parasites or the Vermin, whereas this enemy right here would replace the Abomination or the Amalgam. So it's still totally possible for us to have this enemy and the Hellhounds in Citadelle de Morts. In fact, I think that's more likely than us seeing the Vermin or the Parasites come back. He also tweeted the Shatterblast ammo mod might return, and the new one which is called Light Ray. And finally, he gave us the codenames for all of the DLC Zombies maps that we're going to be getting in Black Ops 6, which I thought was pretty interesting. So Liberty Falls was codenamed Garnet, Terminus was codenamed Quartz, Citadelle de Morts is codenamed Bloodstone, and then there are 3 other maps in the coding that are named Opal, Topaz, and Jade. I mean, that really doesn't tell us anything besides from we are getting 3 more DLC maps after Citadelle de Morts, which we knew anyway. But yeah, the big news, the exciting one, is that we are less than 2 weeks away from the next Zombies map releasing. Let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section below then. Drop a like rating if you have enjoyed, but more importantly, if you could subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you guys for the support, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.